Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. In today's episode, let's look at using Apple loops and creating a complete song in GarageBand for iPad. So I'm going to start off here on the list of songs screen. Now if you're not there, there's probably a My Songs button at the top left corner of your screen. So tap that to go to this screen here. It's got the demo song in there. I'm going to hit the plus button and create a new song. Now when you create a new song, you have to pick an instrument and then start playing it. And we've gone through all the different instruments. But I don't want to start with an instrument. I want to start by using Apple loops, the built-in music loops. So let's just create a dummy track here. I'm going to go to just keyboards here. I'm going to hit the record button and just record really nothing. Hit stop, and then I'm going to tap the loops button at the top there. It's the one right next to the keyboard button. You can see I'm tapping it there, and you can see that's the track I just recorded, which I'm going to throw away. But before I throw it away, I'm going to add an Apple loop to this song here so that the song doesn't just go away, because a song with no tracks will just automatically disappear. So I'm going to tap the loops button, which is the upper right, and it looks like a little loop. And this will bring up this loops browser here. It'll start off here with basically a list of all the loops, which are a lot of them. So I want to narrow it down. I'm going to tap instrument here and hit all drums. And then I'm going to go to genre and let's select rock and blues, and then we can go further into descriptors to narrow it down even more. Let's do something that's kind of relaxed there. And let's pick the 60s shuffle drum set, that first one right here, and we can hear a preview of it. Tap it again to stop it, and if it's the one we want, we simply drag it in and it creates another track. So now we have two tracks in here. Let's get rid of that piano track here. I'm going to do that by tapping on the piano icon to the left there, and I get these options here. I'm going to hit delete. So now I've got one track here that's just this drum kit, and I can hit play to hear it. Now let's add another loop. So I'm going to hit the loop button again here, and I'm going to hit the reset keywords, and this time I'm going to choose from instruments. I'm going to choose bass guitar. Let's go and stick with rock and blues, and let's take this bright tone one here, this first one, preview it, and let's drag it in there. Now we can hear them both together by playing it. So let's add a third loop in here. We'll reset the keywords here. We'll go to instrument, and we'll select something here. Let's go and select guitar, and then after guitar we'll select something urban, and we'll do this one right here. Now we have three tracks going on at the same time. Let's take a listen. So it's sounding pretty good. But the one thing we're missing is our own touch. After all, these are three loops that anybody could just put together. There's a ton of variety in choosing three different loops to put together, and you can put more loops in as well. But let's go and create our own unique song by adding our own instrument here. So let's tap the instruments button at the top, and this time let's select keyboards here. And let's go and then switch to something like the soul organ here. Now, notice at the top we still have this little playback head here which can move back and forth, and we can actually play the music we have so far, and then we can play the keyboard over it. So we can actually jam with the loops that we had before and add our own keyboard thing there, which is great for trying to figure out some sort of notes we want to add. And once we figure it out, we can use the record button to actually record a track. One thing I find useful before doing that is go back to the loops there by tapping the button at the top, and let's expand here. I'm going to drag out this part here. There's that little area in the very middle there that you can use to drag. It's right below the little soul organ image there, and now I can lower the volume on these so that they're not quite as loud, which means I'll hear my playing over what I'm doing here. I'm also going to well, I could delete that soul organ track, or I can simply just double tap in it on the left, and it should take me right into the soul organ track. There we go. So now when I rewind here and play, the soul organ is louder. I can hit stop there at the top and I can hit rewind. And if I want to have it where I can kind of get a count in here in the settings, I'll make sure I have metronome set to on and count in on, which means it's going to count one measure so I can get ready to play just at the right time. So now when I hit record, I can get ready and I can play my track over the existing background sounds. Now once you've recorded something, you can go back and change it again. You can see the green area at the top. I've exited and come back in here during the recording of this, so there's no undo button, but there'll be an undo button at the top, so you can quickly undo and then record again and just record over and over until you get it right. Then you can hit the loops button there at the top and you can go and see it in the context of your entire song. You can actually tap in the loop to select it and then tap it again and you get the edit button there. And now you can go in and actually do some editing of the actual notes. You can also, with it selected, tap the controls at the upper right there and then do things like, for instance, I like this. I can actually lock the notes to the quarter note, eighth note, etc. So for me, this you can see they moved slightly there. This helps timing a little bit better, especially for someone like me who's not great with musical timing. Then you can, let's expand this again to the right. There, and now we can adjust the volumes of each of these to bring it up a bit, and we can play this complete song. Now to add more than 8 measures to your song, you press the plus button at the upper right corner there, and you can create and add song sections. So I can add song section B there, and I get a second section, and I can then put other things in there, and I can move back and forth between these song sections pretty easily just by dragging over to the right. And you can see, there I go, and I've got A and B. So I can basically copy pieces over and then transpose them and add different melodies and things to each one. There's a ton of stuff you can do. Obviously, it's a very deep tool. So if I'm done with the song, what can I do with it? Well, I can go back to my songs here, and then I can select it, just tap and hold instead of actually tapping it once, which will just go into the song for editing. And I've got a share button at the upper left. And now I can share directly to different services, which will basically wrap the song up into an audio file and send it out. But I can also share it via iTunes, which means that it will save it out as an audio file, and then I can go and sync with iTunes and find this as a document file in GarageBand, so I can get the music out and over to my Mac. I can also email the song or save it as a ringtone. So for instance, one of the simplest things to do is save it via email here, and then I could add a bunch of different things to it, some information to it, and then email it. And you can see it's going to export the song there. So there are various different ways to get it there. Of course, if you're using iCloud, you can also then access this on your Mac. So there's the end of a 5-part look at using GarageBand for iPad. Obviously, all 5 episodes, I'm still just scratching the surface. There's so much more that you can do and so much more that you can play with and other features in GarageBand. You can use it to compose complete songs or just quick little loops, maybe to use in videos or for other things. It's a lot of fun to play with, and I encourage you to just get GarageBand for iPad and play with it. And then, of course, if you have an iPhone or iPod Touch, GarageBand works on there too. The interface looks slightly different, but the functionality is basically the same. Hope you enjoyed this look at GarageBand for iPad. Till next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now.